Hey everyone, I'm Your Name, and today we're tackling a bit of a downer, the decline of Canadian cities. From coast to coast, many cities are grappling with shrinking populations, economic stagnation, and a growing sense of uncertainty about the future. Over the past decade, many Canadian cities have experienced a steep decline in population, some losing over 10% of their residents. This exodus is often driven by a lack of economic opportunities, especially for young people who are forced to leave their hometowns in search of jobs and a better future. So let's take a closer look at two cities grappling with these challenges: Halifax, Nova Scotia, and Sudbury, Ontario. By understanding their struggles, we can begin to grasp the broader forces at play and hopefully start thinking about solutions. Halifax, Nova Scotia, a city steeped in history, with its iconic harbour and charming waterfront. But beneath the picturesque facade, Halifax is grappling with a complex set of challenges that are transforming its social and economic fabric. Halifax is a city of stark contrasts, where pockets of wealth and revitalization stand in sharp contrast to neighborhoods grappling with poverty, crime, and a sense of abandonment. One of the most pressing issues facing Halifax is gentrification. As property values skyrocket, especially in the desirable downtown core, long-time residents are being priced out of their homes. The displacement of these communities disrupts social networks, erodes the city's cultural tapestry, and exacerbates existing inequalities. It's a story playing out in cities around the world, but it's particularly poignant in a place like Halifax, with its deep sense of community and history. Adding to this complexity is a worrying rise in crime in certain neighborhoods. While Halifax has long been considered a relatively safe city, recent years have seen an increase in violent crime, particularly gun violence. This surge in crime is often linked to poverty, social marginalization, and a lack of opportunity, creating a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. It's a stark reminder that economic hardship and social unrest often go hand in hand. When residents no longer feel safe walking their own streets, it frays the social bonds that hold a city together. It creates a climate of fear and mistrust, making it even harder to address the root causes of crime and build a more equitable city. Another challenge confronting Halifax is a perceived lack of investment in public services, particularly in neighborhoods hit hardest by economic decline. A shortage of affordable housing, overburdened healthcare systems, and underfunded schools all contribute to a sense of neglect and exasperation among residents. It's a classic example of how systemic inequalities can create a vicious cycle of disadvantage. When essential services are inadequate or inaccessible, it traps individuals and families in a cycle of poverty and limits their life chances. Children growing up in underfunded neighborhoods face an uphill battle from the start, with their opportunities for education, employment, and a good quality of life severely limited. Despite these challenges, it's important to remember that Halifax is a resilient city with a vibrant spirit. Countless individuals, community organizations, and local initiatives are working tirelessly to address these issues and create a more just and equitable city. From affordable housing advocates fighting for tenants' rights to community groups providing essential services to those in need, the spirit of activism and social responsibility is alive and well in Halifax. However, addressing the complex problems facing Halifax requires a multifaceted approach that tackles the root causes of inequality and invests in the well-being of all residents. It requires a commitment from both government and the private sector to create economic opportunities, improve public services, and build a more inclusive city where everyone has the chance to thrive. The story of Halifax is a cautionary tale, a reminder that even in a country as prosperous as Canada, cities can face significant challenges. Now, let's turn our attention westward to Sudbury, Ontario, a city whose history is inextricably linked to the fortunes of a single industry: mining. For much of the 20th century, Sudbury was a bustling mining town, its economy fueled by the rich nickel deposits that lay beneath its rocky terrain. The mines provided well-paying jobs, attracting workers from across Canada and beyond, and transforming Sudbury into a symbol of industrial might. But as with many resource-dependent communities, Sudbury's reliance on mining would eventually prove to be its Achilles heel. As global demand for nickel fluctuated and environmental regulations tightened, Sudbury's mining industry began to decline. Mines closed, jobs were lost, and the city was forced to confront an uncertain future. The decline of Sudbury's mining industry had a ripple effect throughout the local economy. Businesses that once thrived on the patronage of miners and their families struggled to stay afloat. Unemployment rose, and many residents, particularly young people, felt they had no choice but to leave Sudbury in search of work elsewhere. The exodus of young people is a particularly worrying trend for cities like Sudbury. It represents a brain drain as educated and skilled individuals seek opportunities elsewhere, leaving behind an aging population and a shrinking tax base. This demographic shift makes it even harder for cities like Sudbury to invest in essential services and attract new businesses. However, amidst the economic hardship, Sudbury has shown remarkable resilience and a determination to reinvent itself. The city has invested heavily in diversifying its economy, attracting new industries such as technology, healthcare, and education. Sudbury has also become a leader in environmental remediation, transforming its once heavily polluted landscape into a testament to the power of ecological restoration. One of Sudbury's key strategies for economic diversification has been to leverage its strengths in mining and innovation to become a hub for mining technology and research. The city is home to the Northern Ontario School of Medicine, with its strong focus on rural and Indigenous health, and Laurentian University, which has emerged as a leader in mining research and innovation. Sudbury has also made strides in developing its tourism industry, capitalizing on its unique history, natural beauty, and proximity to the great outdoors. Despite these efforts, Sudbury still faces significant challenges. The transition to a more diversified economy is a long and difficult process, and many residents are still struggling to adapt to the changing economic landscape. Sudbury's story is a microcosm of the challenges facing many resource-dependent communities across Canada and around the world. It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, cities can reinvent themselves, adapt to changing circumstances, and build a more sustainable and prosperous future for all. The stories of Halifax and Sudbury offer a glimpse into the complex realities facing Canadian cities in the 21st century. They remind us that urban decline is not some distant threat. It is a present-day reality for many communities across the country. The truth is that any city, no matter its size or location, can face decline if it fails to adapt to changing circumstances. That's why it's crucial for cities to take a proactive and holistic approach to urban development, one that prioritizes economic diversification, social equity, environmental sustainability, and the well-being of all residents. By understanding the factors that contribute to urban decline, we can begin to craft solutions that create more resilient, equitable, and prosperous cities for all.